Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. What's going on? Yes, welcome to Grizzly and Henny's Paranormal Cryptid Conspiracies. Reality or fiction, is it?
Welcome.
So let's see here. There's Thomas. Hello there. Let's see what else we got here. Standing Stones. And we got Crazy Witch coming around the corner. Alyssa. He loves when I does that. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
He loves it. You know he loves it. Hey, Barb, what's shaking and baking there? Remember Shake and Bake? Yes. Did you ever watch that video I sent you? Yes. Partners in Crimes. Absolutely. Yeah.
For sure.
So I gotta ask her about that. So what's going on with you, Chris?
Oh, nothing, man. Just having another good day. July 3rd, day before Independence Day. Just had a half a day off, so
Yeah,
just did
reminds
some
me of
pillow
that
parking
movie
around.
with Will Smith, right? We're getting ready to kick some alien butt, right? Yeah.
Yeah, you think
So
so?
yeah,
Right.
the government only scrubbed that movie approximately 13 times before they released that to the public.
Oh,
So
really? I didn't
just
even
a
know that.
little FYI information. Yes, they actually did. I talk about
I'm
that
good.
a lot of times on the Wake the Nation, and not just a plug for them, but yeah, the government actually had a hand in that. So a lot of people does not know that. So what do we got in store tonight?
Well, we got a guest speaker. We got Mike Familhunt, who's a Bigfoot researcher that travels the U.S., kind of does a tour around the whole U.S.
Aha.
He goes and does actual presentations and does a lot of research and hits a lot of national parks, and he's got some stories to share. So we thought we'd
The
bring Mr. Mike on.
national parks. Interesting. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Mike. Mike, welcome to the show. How are you doing there, Mike?
Hey, thanks for having me. Thank you.
Oh,
This is awesome.
awesome. Long time
Happy
no see
almost
there,
4th
kind
of
sir.
July. Yeah.
Yeah, right. So, Sasquatch and Bigfoot and everything else is going to be running for cover here as soon as it gets dark again. So, all the
Well, they're the ones
fireworks
out there
going
lighting them
off.
off. What are you talking about?
Yeah. Yeah. Where I light off other things that don't just have to light by a wick, if you know what I mean. So,
Be out there
yes.
shooting your guns.
Yeah. Well, I didn't say it had to be that, but yeah, I do like to have a little fun. Absolutely.
There you go.
So, yeah.
So, Mike, tell us what you do for a living.
Yeah. So you kind of hit the nail on the head, Chris. I go around the country and I speak at libraries. And what that does is that funds my trips around the country. So what I'll do is I'll pick a state. I'll say, hey, I want to go to South Carolina, let's say. So I'll email every library in South Carolina, and the ones that email me back say, hey, I want you to come speak. I'll pick a centralized location. I'll camp there, film my show in the shadow of Big Red Eye, and I do that for a living. It's pretty cool.
That's pretty neat.
That's pretty amazing, right? So, what got you into Bigfoot?
Yeah,
Bigfootery.
it all began in North Florida. I know you're from Florida, so this is
Hmm.
hits kind of nice and close to home for you, Chris. But
Mid Florida.
mid Florida. This happened in North Florida in the Panhandle. We were on an expedition and middle of nowhere, Torreya State Park, and the we hear a tree knock from one side of camp, right? And about 5 minutes later, I hear a tree knock from the other side of camp, and I immediately thought that it was like people messing with us, right?
Hmm.
And then about 5 minutes later, a fist-sized rock gets thrown and hits about 5 feet away from our camp or a campfire, right? And I'm like, this is how horror movies start. I'm out of here, right?
Hmm.
And I run to the car, and my buddy talks some sense into me. And over the course of the next 15 minutes, four more of these fist-sized rocks land like 5 to 10 feet from us, right?
Hmm.
So my buddy throws a rock back at it,
Oh,
and
man.
yeah,
That's a good idea.
not the brightest thing to do, but he throws a rock back at it, and I knew it wasn't a person because a laptop-sized boulder came crashing down and landed like 5 to 10 feet from us. So that was my first little experience with.
Now, if you would have thrown that back, I wonder what would have happened.
Yeah, well, it was so
I don't know
outside
if
of
I'd be
human
able to lift
range
something like
to.
that.
What's that?
Yeah,
So I don't
lifting
know if
something
I'd
like
be
that
able
would
to
have
lift
been
something
heavy.
like that.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
well, that's
sounds
the
like it's
thing.
pretty big.
It's we did some measurements the next day, and the closest that this thing could have been was like 75 yards away. So unless Nolan Ryan's hanging out in the middle of the woods chucking rocks, at 4 o'clock in the morning, I don't know what that could be.
So when you say expedition, what kind of expedition were you on? Obviously, you weren't into Bigfoot at that point in time.
Yeah, no, it was actually my first camping expedition. It was with a group of individuals that I probably shouldn't say, but
Mm,
it was with the group of national organization puts on these expeditions, and I went out with them. It was supposed to be with me and my fiance, and then I told her we were going to look for Bigfoot, and then we broke up. So that happened, and then I had to get my buddy to come with me. But anyways, that's neither here nor there.
So that was your first experience, and then what kind of drove it from that point? What
Yeah,
else?
well,
What you started go hit in the woods, or
yeah,
I mean,
well, then after the first Bigfoot expedition, me and my buddy Jimmy, we're now professionals, right? So 3 weeks later, we decide that we're gonna go into the woods by ourselves because that's something, you know what I mean? So
hmm
here we got two newly professional Bigfooters going out in the woods by themselves. And we started watching all the shows on TV just like and we saw them like they do Bigfoot calls every 2 seconds on the TV shows. So I'm doing a call every 2 seconds. Like I say, it's like a no holds barred kind of night. This is in Central Florida. This is actually in
you
Colt
guys are
Creek.
doing tree knocks and everything like
Oh
crazy,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. This is in Colt Creek. So I know you guys were just
Okay.
there.
Yeah.
But anyways, so we're doing vocalizations and stuff. So anything with a brain would know that there's two idiots running around the woods doing knocking on trees and doing these vocalizations, right? Anything with a brain would have gotten out of the area. It's just that simple.
hmm
Um, so my buddy Jimmy, he's with me again. He's got his big flashlight shining around, and comes across a pair of eyes. One set is a fire engine red kind of color, just like this or so. And then the other set is like an aqua blue color, just like this. So um, we immediately thought, because we know everything about everything now, we immediately thought it was people in the woods. We didn't realize that people don't have eye shine, right?
Right.
So because we don't have night vision, obviously we don't have eye shine. So anyways, we thought it was people poaching at night, so that was a little unnerving and unsettling. But anyways, the eyes just stared back at us, and we start yelling like, hey, we're just looking for Bigfoot, that type of thing. And the eyes are just staring back at us, right? And then all of a sudden, the one set, the red set, turns and looks at the blue set, then turns and looks back at us, and then blinks. And then we were out of there. That was like another nope moment for me. But we went back the next day, and the eyes were like 7.5 feet tall, and they were just, there's no way it could have been anything besides like a Bigfoot. So I don't know. That was the second thing that got me into it, and then it just got from there. It just took off.
Man, that's pretty crazy. Um, Man, just to have something looking at back at you with two different color eyes, I think. We've had other people tell us an experience where they have multiple like pendants. It's almost like a personality with or a person with different hair color. Their
Hmm.
eye shines can be all they can be green, orange, red,
Yeah, well,
yellow.
as humans, we have different color eyes, so it would make
Uh-huh.
sense that Bigfoot would have different color eyes too. I think.
Yeah, I would say that for sure. So you have any other encounters up that point? I mean, you've heard. I know you're out there still doing some calls. I saw one of your calls not too long ago on YouTube. Was pretty funny. We'll have to discuss that one.
Oh yeah, that one. Yeah.
That one
Uh,
got a little silly, but
yeah, that was one. Well, just released a video. Actually, if you haven't seen it, you can head over to my YouTube channels. It's Sussex County Bigfoot. But I actually passed out doing a Bigfoot call.
What?
And yeah, yeah.
pretty
It
pretty
was
funny.
I was doing I was in this lake in Florida, and I was on like day 17 of tent camping, and I was just out of it, right? And one of those, we hiked back like a mile and a half, 2 miles to this lake, and they're like, "Oh, you got to do a call, you got to do a call," and I'm like, I really don't feel like doing a call. Like I'm not feeling well at all, right? So they make me do a call, peer pressure. This was all peer pressure based, not cool kids. But anyways, I was peer pressured into doing this Bigfoot vocalization. I did a nice howl, and I just went down. It was a no joke. I did kind of like the dizzy thing, and then I was like, woo. Thankfully, I didn't hurt myself going down, but I was out of it, man. I saw stars. I'm okay, everybody. No worries about me. I'm okay, people.
Yeah, we got a funny out of it at least. I'll have to play that for everybody when we're done here. So one of Grizzly's favorite questions. What do you think Bigfoot is?
Yeah, so I think it's like an undiscovered ancient human, kind of like a Gigantopithecus type thing. I know that's the kind of common theme above among everybody, but I think it's a relic population of bipedal hominids that live in North America, and they're just super smart, super elusive, and super intelligent. To the point where they know, I think, subconsciously and intuitively to avoid humans. That's why it's very hard for us to get any sort of evidence of them.
Okay, it's probably a pretty good answer. What do you think, Grizz?
Uh, what do you think about these people that claim to have these, whatever you want to call them, living on their property and they talk to them every day?
Yeah, that's really interesting. I would love to have that kind of opportunity and experience. I don't know. Much about like the habituation thing. I've not really gotten into it, but I do know that there's some people very much are into that, and it's very very interesting some of the stories that you get out of it, and it's how come nobody wants to take a picture. You get all this so close to them every day, and you see them and whatever, and you talk to them and whatever, and I know you don't want to lose their trust or anything like that, but at some point you got to take a picture of it or something, right?
Yeah, well, you would think so, but at the same time, we've known some people, and that's exactly what they feel like. They feel like they pull out a camera, it's just going to lose their trust
Gonna be
completely.
over. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
it's like they understand what it's all about. At least I don't know. They have this weird, uncanny reason or way of avoiding cameras, anyways, somehow or another. Even when it comes to night vision, we all know that's
Hmm.
usually considered a deterrent. Like if you put out a deer cam, that's a good way to keep a Bigfoot away
Yeah.
because the IRs they see all that apparently.
What
Um,
actually, when it comes to trail cameras, what I do actually is I don't know if they could see them or not. I think they probably can. And I say that just because like my night vision camera, if I look at a trail camera, it's
you can see
bright
it.
as day. I mean, it's
Yeah.
like a spotlight, and
Hmm.
I think that's why Bigfoot avoid them. I think they could see it just like we could see a spotlight, in the night sky, and whatever, we would just avoid it. But what I do with trail cameras is I still use them, even though Bigfoot might be able to see them. What I do is I have three trail cameras, and I put them in a semicircle around our camp, and I face them outwards. So that way, if Bigfoot does see the cameras, he'll avoid them. But if he's still curious, like I hope he is, he's going to come in that one little circle that doesn't have the trail cameras facing it or facing outside of it, and then we're going to be sitting there with our thermal cameras, and boom, get some clear thermal imaging of Bigfoot.
That's a possibility, an
That's
idea.
interesting. Yeah.
I know they have some like non-IR infrared ones, like they're more
Mhm.
night sensitive type of without sending an IR flash, but I don't know. I never tried one of those, to be honest with you. So, have you witnessed any other kind of cryptids in your ventures? Because you're out there at nighttime. Grizzly, I don't know if he's got a picture of it, but he's got this car. What is it, an Outback?
Yeah, it's
Subaru
2015
Outback.
Outback. Yeah.
Tell us about that thing. That's pretty cool. It's tricked out.
Yeah. Well, it's a 2015 Subaru Outback, and fun fact, I've driven 20,000 miles just this year looking for Bigfoot. But anyways, 2015 Subaru Outback, and what it is I took the whole back seat out, and I made like a raised sleeping platform on it. I put some cabinets in the back. I have put a secondary battery, so I'm never gonna. I could always charge all my equipment and stuff like that. Um, but I could like live without it in it with for like a month or so before, obviously without food and water, but without having to restock and stuff like that. So it's good. It saves on hotel charges. I don't or hotel fees. I don't have to stay in a hotel. All I have to do is pull over on the side of the road and whatever. Um, and it's great because on the side of it it says real big Bigfoot Mobile Command Center, and it's got all the graphics and everything on it, and that's like free advertising for the show, so I'll take that whenever I can get it, right? And
Right.
it's cool because people come up to me all the time and say, hey, I've never told anybody this before, but in X year I saw a Bigfoot. And the only reason why they would come up and they would say that is because they saw my car, which is pretty neat.
Yeah, this thing. We went out one night. I think Mike Aguilar had. We were in one vehicle, and Mike was this Mike Femlin was falling behind us from his little toy. But that thing is pretty cool because it's got lights on top that shine in like every direction. It just blasts light everywhere.
Which
The
we found out
sides.
we're not supposed to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is against the law, by the way. Yeah.
Technically, but yeah, when nobody's out there in the middle of the woods, I guess you can get away with it for a little while. As they say, it's only illegal if you get caught, right? But yeah, pretty cool vehicle for sure. So when you're out there, have you witnessed any other cryptids? Any orbs? Any other weird things that just make you say, well, I don't think that's Bigfoot, but what the hell was that?
Yeah, the only thing that I could relate to something is not really anything another cryptid or anything like that. I've seen like I've been out a lot and I've not come across a dog man or a moth man or anything like that.
Hmm.
Been down the Pine Barrens a whole lot in South Jersey. I've not come across a Jersey Devil, but whatchamacallit is what I have come across, and this is right before. So we witnessed. There were five of us, and we witnessed this light, this red light, and it was just zigzagging across the sky, doing like an M pattern going across the sky. And about 15 minutes later, I did a barred owl call, a woo 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 type thing, and we got the best Bigfoot vocalization we've ever got back. So
Oh yeah,
it's not, to me, it's not. I can't correlate the two together. As a lot of times people will be like, "Oh, well, UFOs and Bigfoot they go together." I still don't think they do. I think Bigfoot's a biological species, just like you and I, just like a duck or a
but
chicken or a dog
you
or
just
something like
did.
that. Yeah, but I kind of yeah,
Yeah,
I guess so. I don't know.
it was two
I'm just
things that
reporting my
happened
findings.
simultaneously. Yeah, I mean and that happens a lot. There, I mean, we got BFRO and people report their stuff all the times, and they extract all those odd things off to the side. But then if you really add all those odd things back in, uh, there's there's a lot of that is getting left out, and people are reporting on it. It's makes you wonder, you know.
Everybody wants to know, Mike, what state are you from?
I am from New Jersey, the wonderful, wonderful state, the Garden State of New Jersey.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. There you go, Rebecca. New Jersey. Yeah. So we have teriyaki. They look tiki tiki. Where the hell did I get teriyaki from, Irene?
Teriyaki. Hey,
Yeah, there
someone's
we go.
hungry.
You know what I'm thinking of. They look creepy creatures that take you from your house. The hell with that, Irene. I'm not coming to Japan now. You done scared me. Hey, Russell. Hey, Barb. Yeah, thank you. She says, thank you, Mike.
Hmm.
Tiki
Inquiring
Tiki,
minds
never
want to
heard of
know.
that one.
Neither
Never
mind.
heard of that either.
That's something we're going to have to look into.
All right, time to look it
So,
up.
yeah, right. So, but nothing in the woods ever like made you like run for the hills or anything
Yeah,
besides rock.
well, the rocks thing, that was not cool. Excuse me. The one time that I was not okay in the woods. So I'll tell you the story real quick. I've been on this trail eh, uh, a bunch, right? A bunch of times, and I could do this trail blindfolded, backwards, day, night, no problems, whatever. I was hiking at one time, and I got about a half mile in, and I came across a tree break, and then all of a sudden at that tree break, I felt like I hit a brick wall, and I couldn't go any further, and it was the weirdest feeling that I've ever came across. I don't know what it was, but like goosebumps and everything. And I actually had to call my buddy to come pick me up because he was, he was gonna, I was gonna do a freak, and he had to come pick me up because I couldn't go any further. So that was just one of the other kind of things. I think it might have been Bigfoot infrasound actually.
I was going to ask you that if that's what you think that might have been.
Yeah,
Sounds quite a bit like it, don't it?
it sure
You
does.
might have
Yeah.
walked up into
Yeah, it
something you weren't
does.
supposed to be.
Hmm. It's all recorded
I've
too.
had
It's on
other
the YouTube
people say,
channel, so you can check it out.
"Oh, really?
Hmm.
So I haven't seen that one yet. That's
So
interesting."
Standing Stones wants to know, have you ever been to New England looking around?
Oh yeah. I actually have. I'm leaving for Maine in 2 days. I got a library tour coming up in Maine, which I'm super excited about. And then I'll be in New Hampshire and Vermont this year, so keep an eye out for me as well up there. But yeah, we've been to all over New England. The only place we haven't been to is Rhode Island or Massachusetts yet. Haven't gotten to Massachusetts.
And
Understand? Nice.
during your travels, you arrange meetings with other avid Bigfooters sometimes, and even you know, I know I've actually wanted to hang out with you, but I'm sure you've had quite a few different meetings with other folks that have been in the community. Do you have anything that's really cool and memorable that you want to share? Like, what's your best memories of going out with other Bigfooters?
And it's I gotta say it was going out with you guys in the Everglades. That was a trip that
No,
wasn't
you're
supposed
just
to
you're
happen,
just
and we
saying
weren't
that.
gonna go on that. No, no, it was a swamp buggy that did it. We took the swamp
Yeah.
buggy thing and legit rode through the Everglades, and it was the coolest thing I think I've ever done before. It was so legit.
Mike was in the middle of his tour, and we actually met with him up at in a little north of where I live. I can't even remember. Wasn't quite as far as Ocala, but it was in a drier
With
part of the woods.
with
Wasn't in a bunch
Lakuchi.
of swamp. Yeah, with the Coochie Woods, our state forest, and we went and hung out there and had a good time. So we were already planning on heading down to Everglades to go see Sheely, and we were like, hey, Mike, why don't y'all go down there with us? And it kind of just spontaneously happened. So that turned into a pretty cool adventure for sure. Uh, we did all kinds of stuff, kayaking through the mangroves to
Mm,
out Bigfoot in the middle of the
I
night.
cannot believe we didn't tip that kayak. I am still shocked by that. That's still um and we didn't come across any pythons.
No.
I was a little upset by that, but that's okay.
Well, apparently, you know how the media news is. If you're in Florida, you've heard about the pythons like invading the Everglades. That's what you think. You go down there and you'd see pythons everywhere. And the whole time I've been down there many times and haven't seen one, other than what Dave Shealy has in his, in his little zoo there. But
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. Apparently, according to David, that the most of the python hunting isn't guys walking around in the swamps and the Everglades. They drive around until they see one crossing the road, and that's how they catch them. So
Sounds
it's a
like a
bunch
good way
of
to look for the
it's,
skunk ape too.
it's a bunch of TV, right? Yeah. Well, we did that. We went out one night. we did go out one night when they were down there. We all went driving around about 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning looking for pythons and didn't come across any, but we definitely had a good time. There's no doubt about that.
So
But
Rebecca wants to
anyway,
know about Mount Katahdin.
Mount Katahdin, yes, there
Yeah, Katahdin.
pl-
There we go. Thank you.
plenty of sightings around there. There's I can't think of anything specifically off the top of my head. Our tour, it does not bring us up that way, unfortunately. This trip, it was actually, we were going to do it for my birthday. My birthday is actually in a couple days, July 7th. We were going to hike Mount Katahdin for my birthday, but unfortunately we won't be able to do that. I'll be in Mexico, Maine, doing a library presentation for that school. um but yeah, plenty stories out of that area of out of Maine. It's awesome up there. You got the 100-mile wilderness that has a ton of Bigfoot sightings out of there as well.
do you pre-plan these? Because I know you do a lot of campsite visits in between your tour dates or whatever. Um, so you like research all that, trying to figure out where the most sightings are in an area and try to hit that up, or how
Yeah,
do you work
yeah.
that?
What I do is I have a it's an app called Caltopo. It's a website. It's a backpacking app, and what you do is what I do is I put all my library presentations on it, and then where my base camp's going to be. So I can see like how far away each and everything is, and then what I'll do is in that area of the library presentation, I'll put a park or a forest or something to go hike and explore. So I could do that before or after the library, which is awesome. It's something fun to do.
Nice.
That's interesting.
Very-
Now, Liana, she did not hear the beginning, but she wants to know. She's very curious about you. And she wants to know if you've ever experienced anything with UFOs, ET, or anything paranormal when you're out there in the woods playing around.
Yeah, we talked about the UFO thing. I saw a red zigzaggy light thing that I can't correlate too much with Bigfoot. We saw that, and I did do a paranormal investigation one time. I was invited out by the Lady Ghostbusters. Can't say no to that, right? And they invited me out, and we did this thing. And I'll tell you, we saw something on the SLS camera that's like a structured light sensor camera that puts like dots and stuff. I don't know. It's one of these weird things. But anyways, we saw it in the bathroom, and it was a stick figure, and it was doing what we were telling it to do, and it was crazy. Never again.
Wow.
I'm never gonna do a paranormal thing that bad of me. I'd rather come across an 8 foot tall, 1,000 pound bipedal hominid in the woods.
Mike, you and I are in the same boat
Yeah,
with that one.
yeah.
You
I
can keep
don't
the
deal with stuff.
paranormal stuff.
Yeah, I don't deal with stuff I can't see. Yeah.
Have you ever
So,
messed
what do
with
you,
the SLS Grizzly? Have you ever seen one of those?
are you crazy? No. I got enough problems in my own right now. That's one thing I will not buy and use in my no. No, I
Yeah.
got no. You was not on my show the other day when I had my new dolls that jumped 3.5 feet from the top of my studio desk and landed next to my mouse with my hand next to it. I about doo-dooed all over myself and about jumped out of my chair and flipped out. One of them's got Cindy written on the bottom of the doll. I mean, that flipped me out.
Is
Then I
that the
got,
creepy one?
oh, no, yeah, oh, you haven't seen nothing to the one I
No,
got
I
today.
saw that one creepy. Oh man, I don't know.
So, yeah.
So he's got a whole bunch of haunted dolls that he keeps up on our shelf above him, and they mess with him during the shows, which
Hmm.
Yeah, they got
deservingly so. That's
attachments
what you
and they're
get.
verified by my psychics. I got a panel
Hmm.
of psychics. And I thought it would be funny, doing a show on paranormal. And I showed some of these dolls to my psychics, and they were like, ah! And I'm like, what do you mean? What's wrong with you? They're like, you better get rid of them. I'm like, why? And then it's a lot. It's a whole, yeah, yes, Danny Stone. written Cindy, and I'll show you that on my next show on the Paranormal Show. You missed a lot, but I forgot I was going to ask if y'all got talking about paranormal. That is freaky. That is freaky. What do you think about the government in Bigfoot? That's my question.
Yeah, I mean the government's got it. That's a G word that that's a whole topic. I think the government, if Bigfoot does exist, just like UFOs or UAPs or everything like that, I think the government would probably know about them. I don't think they're ever going to release that they do know about them, because if let's say Bigfoot is a discovered species, right? It's gonna be what you call endangered species for sure, right?
Right.
And they're going to that means that they're going to be protecting the forest that it lives in. So that means like all the logging up they do in the Pacific Northwest and stuff, that's all going to come to a stop because that's all going to be protective forest land now for the species of Bigfoot. So I don't think that's ever going to happen, unfortunately.
Well, what do you think the government's so interested in it? What? Because I mean, there's plenty of reports of Bigfoot, things happening, people dying. The government comes, cleans things up, and basically makes things go away. What do you think there would be an interest in that? Other than,
Of
because I mean, you think about it, if there's a gorilla involved, right? Silverbacks are endangered.
Mhm.
Say if those were running around the woods, you think the G men, the government men, would be so interested in protecting those?
Well, I mean, I don't think again if you have Bigfoot discovered as a species and the government says, "Hey, guess what, guys? You got Bigfoot around behind you. You got this silverback behind you, right? In your woods. Everyone's gonna try to shoot one of these things, and, everybody's gonna running in the woods with ghillie suits on and stuff. And what does a person in a ghillie suit look like? A Bigfoot. So I think they got to protect the species like that because you have these crazy people running around the woods with these guns and stuff, and people are gonna get hurt for sure.
Yeah, we do that already. There's idiots
Yeah.
out there running around like that, anyways.
Are
Well,
you
that's
calling
besides the
me
point.
out? Are you calling
No,
me
no,
out? He's
no, not
calling me
you.
out. He's calling me out, ladies.
You're not a ghillie suit, are you?
No, no,
Okay.
ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back. Stand by.
My gosh, they're all going against the wind.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of Grizzly and Henny's Paranormal Cryptid Conspiracies. We got Mike with us. Welcome back, everybody. So, how you doing, Mike? What do you think so
Ah,
far? You enjoying the show?
this is great. Yeah, I'm having a great time.
Yeah,
Good.
awesome. Glad to hear that. Yes, welcome back, Barb, Thomas, and E-Rev. So, yes, Jackie, Rebecca. Yeah, I think Jackie's mad about her dolls having competition. But yeah, we'll get into that a little bit later. That is crazy. So, but no, so really, I mean, so we know that when they found that spotted owl in the Midwest, what was that, 8 or 9, 10 years ago? The log industry came to a standstill. And they had
Absolutely.
to like, oh my God, what are we gonna do? Now the logging industry, ladies and gentlemen, that did the plywood, that did paper towels, that did paper plates. I mean, they did everything that, paper. I mean, anything paper related. I mean, it affected everything. So they had to put so many thousands and thousands of acres to set aside for this spotted owl that they thought was extinct, but it wasn't. So I don't know. I think
No,
there's more to it.
imagine a Bigfoot now doing the same thing. How many hundreds of thousands of acres that they're gonna have to put aside.
Yeah,
I don't know because it's coast to coast and worldwide, so that's going to be interesting.
Hmm.
that's for sure. So when you during your adventures, you said that people come up to you, tell you about, hey, I've seen a Bigfoot, because your car and all that, like you mentioned. What's the most memorable stories that you've just come across people meeting, whether it be camping or whatever, that they told you just made you say, "Wow, you'll never forget that story."
I think the coolest one happened a couple years ago. And I talk about Bigfoot a lot, like every day of my life, right? So there was
Hmm.
one day that I just wanted to take off of Bigfoot where I didn't want to talk about Bigfoot, right? So I go to this local establishment up in Sussex County, up where I'm from, and I park and I'm like, all right, this is gonna be great. So I get out of the car and I hear Bigfoot from like across the parking lot. I said, "Oh, great. All right, here we go. I'm not going to take off tonight, I suppose." But anyways, this guy comes up to me and he's like, "Hey, my grandfather has a Bigfoot cast. He's never shown anybody. Do you want to see it?" Excuse me. And I said, "No, I'm off tonight." No, I said, "Absolutely. Of course I want to see it, right?" So about 3 weeks later, I went up and I meet this guy, this gentleman, elderly gentleman, and he had not one but 70 Bigfoot casts that he's never shown anybody before, all from Sussex County. So that makes you wonder how many other people are holding on to evidence that they've never told anybody about, right?
Wow,
Wow.
70. And you
Oh,
seen them all? He showed
yeah,
you some of the
yeah,
best ones, or what?
yeah, yeah. He
How
let me rummage through them.
how big?
Oh, they were
Like,
all different sizes. I mean, it was awesome. All
wow,
different sizes, yeah. Yeah,
that's
because we
pretty cool.
found up in that same area we found a 17 or a 15 and a half incher in the snow a couple years back in 2014, 9 years ago now.
So you found, have
Wow.
you made a bunch of casts yourself? Have you come across quite a few footprints, or?
No, it's unfortunate because the footprints that we do find it takes a really good you have to have really the good conditions to be able to find a castable footprint. I think we, as
Mhm.
Bigfoot researchers, we understand that. So it's hard to come across ones that you can actually cast. For example, the ones that we found up in High Point State Park, they were in the snow. So I know you can cast in the snow, but these were just not able to be casted because there was just unable to. Um, I found footprints in the pine barrens that we've casted in the past. They were juvenile footprints. What was cool is they started out as um, uh, juvenile 5 inch, and then a couple years later they were 7 inches, and a couple of years later they were 12 inches. So I don't know if that's the
Wow.
same Bigfoot or if someone, I don't think someone's messing with us. You know what I mean? That takes a lot
Yeah.
of it would take a lot of uh,
Do you believe their families all?
yeah, I think they live in family groups. I think in New Jersey here, perfect example, we have 9 Bigfoot in the state. I think there's a group of 4 individual Bigfoot, and I think there's another group of 5. I think they roam counterclockwise around the state, actually.
That's interesting. I never heard of that. So they actually
Yeah.
all the groups move at the same time, or?
Yeah, yeah. Well, you see, you have sightings increase in New Jersey depending on where you are in the state. Sightings increase by 80% every third year. So you got to wonder, like, why is that, right?
Hmm.
So why do we think, like, what could do, like, why people have said migration could be migration, but that would be a yearly movement. Some people say it could be because of mating and their babies and stuff like that. Definitely could be. Uh, but I think it's because they're nomadic, and I think that they follow the food, right? I think they do that because if you take and I think they eat what bears eat. So bears eat like berries, bushes, grasses, shrubs, and stuff like that. So if you take a berry bush and you strip that berry bush completely, so there's no more berries and no more leaves left on it, and then when you break it, it takes 3 years for that berry bush to grow berries again. So you could see that 3 year nomadic cycle, I believe. Yeah, it's interesting, and I would challenge any researcher in their own area to try to come up with their own see if they have a nomadic movement in their area. So put some more pieces of the puzzle together.
It makes sense. I mean, yeah, think about it. They do. It is seasonal, especially where you're traveling for the most part. In Florida, it's a little different. I don't think the
Hmm.
seasons we just have essentially two. We got a wet and a dry season. I
Right.
mean, sure, the hot and cold isn't a big enough variable to even be a thing. So it's just wet and dry season here. So the swamps kind of move, push things out, and allow things to come back in as they dry up. Up north, you got that cold snow, the spring, the berries, everything. So that becomes definitely more, I think, more
Hmm.
potential for nomadic activity. I mean, it just makes sense to me at least.
Yeah, well, that's what our ancient humans used to do before we settled down and started farming and stuff like that. We followed the food, so it just makes sense, I think.
Liana King wants to know if you would guess, how long do you think the juveniles rely on their mama?
Oh, geez, I don't think we could even venture to guess. Uh, a couple of years, I would guess before they're mature enough to be on their own. I would imagine. I don't know. It's a good question.
And Standing
I'm sure
Stone,
they got every stages of life too, right? They probably have teenagers.
right?
They probably,
That's
Yeah,
a good question. That's a good question.
yeah.
Standing
yeah.
Stones, does Mike know about Lorraine Coleman's Cryptid Museum up in Portland, Maine?
Yes, we did an episode up there, our main episode on our YouTube channel. We filmed up in there, which is really awesome. He let us go up there and film, which he doesn't let anybody go up and film there. So we got kind of special privilege, which is really
Oh,
cool.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's
That's very
cool. Very
awesome.
awesome.
I'm going through the comments right now and
Yeah, I
see what
see. We got
anybody
a lot
else
of
is.
comments going on.
Yeah,
Jeez.
oh, yeah, they are very talkative right now. Here in Tennessee, it's the picnic and dumpster diving season. So they are more nomadic, Ninja Dave
Hmm.
saying. So yeah, I mean, we hear a lot of that around here in the down south that they do dumpster dive. We had one
Mhm.
guy was filmed. I'm not going to say what episode, and he pulled out his 4.5 and got scared and popped off around at it while I was in the dumpster. Now, what in the hell was wrong with him? I mean, let the damn thing eat. So I mean, he was waiting for it. He knew it was going there. And the guy even said on TV, it was just amazing. It was incredible. I'll never forget watching that episode. I still laugh every time.
Hmm.
Standing Stones wants to know, will you sign a book for him?
No, I think he was saying the guy that he was talking about in
Lauren
Portland.
Coleman. Yeah.
He
Oh, I
signed a
didn't
book for
know.
Standing Stones.
Yeah. I was gonna say I'll
Oh,
definitely sign
okay.
it. I didn't write it, but I'll sign it. I mean, that's cool.
The book was Avengers of Tom Slick and his quiet quest of the Yeti. Oh, I got you. All right. Thank you for
That's pretty cool.
clarifying that up. Yeah. But no, it's just I never forget that episode because the guy was in, and that's another thing too is that the Cherokee Nation around this part of where I live in Kentucky, and Val lives in Michigan, and we interview a lot of indigenous people because and they tell us a lot of I don't want to say secrets, they tell us a lot of information, and they call us white people, and I don't get offended by that, but it is what it is. And one thing that he taught us is they do know Indian language,
Hmm.
and I was like, what? So one of the things we were taught, what wasn't we, Chris? OCO. So next time you're out in
OCO.
the
Yeah.
woods, say that and see if you get a response. OCO, and that
Hmm.
means what's your name? And this guy takes people out. He's got Cherokee blood, and he had a guy with him with his thermal. And he's like, look, there's one right there. And the guy's like, let me see. So he shared his thermal, and he said, watch this. He's like, oh, see, oh. And but he had his ethnic, whatever, his dialect, when he said it.
Mm-hmm.
And the damn thing said no. And the guy's like, take me back. I don't want to be here. I want to go. Take me back to the car. I don't want to be out in the woods. And the guy freaked out. He's like, what did he say? And he was like, no. And he's like, what do you mean no? He said, no. He told me no. He did not want to respond. So, I mean, that would freak me out, Mike. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, that would, yeah, no. If they actually have a language and they can communicate with humans, that's crazy. I mean, that takes my belief of how intelligent they are to a whole different level.
If you haven't watched the Randy story, apparently, Mike, we got a guy who he told a story, an incredible story. I can send you a link to the whole. He basically got on a podcast for an hour and a half and told a story. It's crazy, but he, as a kid, played with juveniles.
Okay.
And he told us. I mean, the story is so detailed. It gets to the point where, and you just see him. The authenticity and genuinity of him talking about it, it's hard to deny that it didn't happen.
Damn near died from it.
Yeah, but he's sitting there. He said that it was crazy. It can mimic anything he said. He'd make a cat sound meow, baby crying. He said, I make a really good baby crying, and this thing could do it better. No matter what he did, dog, cat, I mean, you name it, it could do it better. Mimic it perfectly. So you hear these stories about women crying or people saying "help me" in the woods.
Yeah,
makes you wonder. There's definitely some good and some bad. Just like we know people are good and bad, and we understand there's some good and bad Bigfoots. And if somebody's trying to lure you into the woods, that'd be a good way to do it, right?
Witch, Mike, won't you tell about the guy with the woo woo in the peanut butter jars? He wants you to tell Mike about that.
No, I'll let you tell him about that one.
Why do I always gotta tell the story?
Yeah, I just told a story. All right. So I don't even remember the guy's name now.
I thought you wanted my woo woo and peanut butter jar story.
You got one? Let's hear it.
No, I'm just kidding.
You gotta hear this, Mike. I mean, Mike, this is crazy. This guy got on our air and was crying. Oh. He was begging people not to feed these Sasquatches, not to gift
His name
them.
Brian, I think, maybe. Oh, I can't remember.
I have to go back and look at the episode.
So he was gifting every day. Every day he's going out in the woods. Big Sam's. We're talking big peanut butter jars every day, 6 days a week.
Mm-hmm.
And it got to the point.
Clothes, the same backpack, and he would clap every time he went in the woods. Let him know, hey, I'm here. So yeah.
Huh.
Well, he would get these jars back, lids on, empty. Got to the point where he started dating them and dating the lids too, so he could see if they end up sometimes matched together, sometimes they're not matched together.
Oh. Huh.
But the crazy part is, and why he was crying, is that he got sick or something like that, and he couldn't keep going out to the woods. Then there was reports, because he wasn't living where he was going out, but it was adjacent to some residential area. And apparently these Bigfoot got pissed off. They weren't getting their peanut butter. So they started visiting the neighbors and causing problems.
Banging on houses, ripping vinyl sidings, throwing the damn jars at the houses.
Wow.
So the peanut butter jars were showing up on their lawns.
Jeez.
They're peeping in their windows, freaking people out. And he was trying to make it as a public service announcement. Don't feed the bears, don't feed the Bigfoots.
Yeah. Huh.
And basically he got, he had the Park Service basically kicking him out.
Fish and Wildlife. Yeah, they had to put up trail cameras to get his license plate number to pay his ass a visit.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, and then they're like, quit feeding the bears. And he's like, what do you mean bears? And he would not. They would not say Sasquatches. One
Wow.
family was so upset, Mike, they put their house up for sale. That's how distraught they was. And this guy said that Sasquatch feces was so big, he had to break it in half to put it in his cooler. He's like, but don't tell my wife. It's in the freezer.
Yeah.
He said it stuck up his truck for 3 days.
Yep.
That's how nasty it was. And I said, where is it now? He said, it's in my freezer. But he was still crying. Please, people, don't feed him. But he's got feces in his freezer.
Peanut butter poop.
Yeah.
Oh Lord. Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, it's just a wild story. So yeah, if you're gonna feed them, gift them once and don't be repeat gifting, or I don't know. It's just
I
probably a
think
bad idea.
it's a very slippery slope when you get to
Yep.
feeding wild animals. You know, it's especially when you get into a habit of it, like this guy did. You know, and
hmm
then when you stop, I don't know, something bad could happen.
Well, down here in Florida, there's a big no. Don't feed the gators, and reason
Yeah.
being, and I've seen them. I've seen like a little tiny 4-footer
What
in
the
a
hell,
pond.
Chris? You feed him Reese's butter, baby, peanut butter cups.
Oh, not consistently. It's we don't go out every day. We're out maybe once that particular area, maybe once every couple months. So it's a gift, literally. But no, as far as the gators go, they people think it's cool. Feed the gator, he comes over, eats food. Eventually, what happens over a little bit of time, gators start seeing people. People equals food. So that gator gets big enough. Guess what becomes food if you don't have food?
Yep.
You know, they start correlating those two things together. I remember seeing a little tiny 4-footer. I mean, it was even maybe smaller than that, and he come right on over. Normally, a gator, just like any wild animal, doesn't know people. It's gonna run. It'll keep its distance, but you can tell the ones that have been fed because they'll come right to you.
Just like camp bears, they'll come right
Correct.
over to the campsite. You know.
Rock, raccoons, all the
Hmm.
same thing. Yep. Most of them will stay away unless they're used to people and food.
I had a raccoon in Indiana, and the thing was out during the day, and I was like, I went up to the park host, and I was like, is this a problem? You know, he's like, oh, did it come after you? I'm like, no. It's like, no, it's fine then. I'm like, what the? I was like, okay, but the thing like jumped up on my table. I was like cooking hot dogs, and the thing like jumped up on my table and tried to steal the hot dogs out of the boiling water. It's like, what's going on, man?
Calm down. I haven't even finished cooking them yet.
I know. Let me finish cooking them first. Jeez.
Brazen. It's crazy. Yeah, you should. Yeah, in Canada, you get fined for feeding wildlife because elk get sick. Well, I think any wildlife would probably be a bad idea. You really shouldn't mess with them. Let them fend for themselves. That's my take on it. Other than Reese's once in a while for a Bigfoot, and that's actually Mike Aguilar has been doing that for a couple of years. So I'm not going to interfere with him.
Now, what do you
So
think about these creatures able to cloak like
Uh,
Predator?
yeah, I don't know. I've never seen that happen, so I can't say either way that it can or can't happen. I mean, I'm to the point where it's like a flesh and blood thing, so we don't know anything that could do that in like, you know, today's time. So I don't know. If I got to see it to believe it type of thing.
What do you think about the hair on Bigfoot?
The hair on Bigfoot?
Yeah.
mhm.
What do you mean?
What color is a polar bear?
You asked me this last time. It's black.
Right. So, reference to Bigfoot, how well they can blend in, right?
Oh, yeah.
You've seen
So,
their hair or pictures of their hair under a microscope, right?
Mm-hmm.
How they look kind of scaly and actually rather clear.
Yeah. Yeah. Translucent.
And also, they
right,
don't have the
right.
Mandela
Right.
line inside of
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
So
Hey,
kind of
you
weird.
know, a good thing when it comes to like cloaking and stuff like that. We didn't know years ago when we were doing our research and stuff and exploring all these animals and stuff, and in the Amazon we came across the electric eel. We had no idea what electricity was back then, right? So we're just going through, and this thing, all we know is if you get close to it, it zaps us. And that's the craziest thing, because now we understand what happens. But imagine back then having no idea what this thing is, and that could be how we look at Bigfoot today.
Hmm.
This who knows?
And I think that's a good, very, very good possibility. One of the reasons why the G-men don't want us to,
Mm,
or they're so
mm,
interested in that technology,
yeah, that very
because
well
there,
could
there's
be.
there's something there to be found. I mean, it's obvious. I think if you have an 800, 900, 1,200 pound gorillas walk around the woods, we'd be finding them.
Mm.
But these things are incredibly intelligent. There's something else to them that we can't put our finger on. And Rebecca, to answer your question, that was Mike Scott that had the female serenading him, not me.
Yes.
He's
Yes,
coming
that
back
is correct.
hopefully next week on next Wednesday, because she said something about that. Wasn't it one of the shows that Chris had a female serenading him? Next step is dating, right? I'm like, no, that wasn't me. That was Mike, the other Mike.
But
I was gonna
but
say not
Mike,
me
what?
either. No.
Uh,
Yeah, but Mike, why don't you think? I don't know. I mean, how come we don't have better pictures and videos of these creatures or animals or Bigfoots, whatever you want to label them as?
Yeah, well, the average Bigfoot sighting lasts about 5 seconds. So, if I say take out your phone and go open your camera and get a clear picture of me within 5 seconds, it's going to be very difficult for you to do. Put on that on top of that, Bigfoot's probably moving, so you have a moving creature, and even on top of that, you see it, and your adrenaline's going so much, you're going to be shaky, and your phone's not going to, it's just it
Most people
just
don't even think they're so in awe about the situation that they don't. Even, it didn't even cross their mind until it's already over. Then they're like,
yeah,
"Oh shit, I gotta
a
take a
lot of
picture." You
people
know?
that I've talked to, even when it comes to Bigfoot footprints, like they come across a Bigfoot footprint and they have their phone in their pocket and they're like, "Oh, I forgot to take a picture of it." It's like one of those kind of things. It's like, huh, I guess in the moment, you never know how you're going to react to it.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
sure if you're in shock that you saw a Bigfoot, that it might not be the first second in your mind. Like, oh, let me get my camera out. And
Yeah.
then again, how long does it take you to get it takes me probably over 5 seconds just to get my camera up.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's just
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Some people are a
My
little faster
my
about it.
my big camera, my filming camera, I film for the episodes. Takes about 7 seconds for it to turn on. Uh, so that's why I always wear a body camera, just in case. If you had the head cam, if you had a head cam on all the time, would it work or would they turn off? Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. The body camera, same thing. Is I use that all the time. It always works. It records night vision. Also has GPS on it, which is really cool. So
Is that
I
like a
definitely,
GoPro?
yeah, GoPro. Except this is like a police body camera. It's a little cheaper.
Okay. How long does the batteries on those things last? Because I know the GoPros, man, you might get an hour, hour and a half at best. I mean, it's still a decent amount of time, but
Oh, these
it's
these go for probably about 20 hours or so.
so that's pretty good.
Yeah,
That's the downfall of the GoPros. They don't last a super long time.
yeah,
But
yeah.
when they're recording 4K quality, tends to go pretty quick.
That's a good
Any
question.
other? Yeah, it is. I don't keep one of those on. I should maybe look and investing in one.
So Kat
Yeah.
asked, do they turn the cameras off for any time, or because we heard that
No.
they drain batteries allegedly and so forth. So
Yeah, the only thing that I've noticed, they've never turned the camera off on me. I know my main filming camera does drain, the batteries do drain very quickly, and so does my voice recorders. but I think that's just because they use a lot of battery. I don't think that's anything that has to do with Bigfoot relating, to drain energy or anything paranormal or anything like that. I just think they just drain a lot of battery.
Okay, good.
Interesting. So, what's your biggest goal by researching and being out in the field?
Yeah. So the main mission of the show, like my mission statement of the show, and the reasons why I go around and do all these library presentations and stuff like that is to get friends and families off the couch and outside into nature more. I think it's imperative nowadays, especially post COVID and everything, with everybody's just so attached to their phones nowadays, especially the younger generation. So I would just challenge anybody to get off the couch and take that waterfall hike that you've been, procrastinating and putting off for years and whatever. Go and take that hike and see something that you wouldn't see sitting on the couch every day. That's the main reason why I do what I do.
Nice. Hey, Grizzly,
E-Rev,
do
we
what?
need to go old school. Tripwire hook and photos, light box, exposure time be tricky, but no electronic frequencies to be detected by them, maybe. A lot of people are
Sure.
going old school technology, and they're saying that they're getting a little bit better results. So who knows? So that could be a possibility.
Yeah, no frequency. That's true. That's a good idea. It's tripwire. I like that idea.
The Gimlin, Patterson Gimlin was a little winder. It wasn't like the standard kind of electronics. Here, Grizzly, I'm going to forward this to you. If you want to
Is this
pull
where he
this up and
passes
play
out?
it. Yeah, I gotta play this for
I
everybody.
knew it.
geez.
I knew
This
it.
is
I got to
just,
see
this
this,
is
ladies
just
and
gonna be
gentlemen.
too funny. I just sent it to you on your Facebook message.
All right, stand by, ladies and gentlemen. I do have my Facebook up for a change. So I just got to click on this. And I just got to hit enable audio. So we're going to play the whole thing here. Yes, lovely, isn't it?
Hey, you wanted to go viral. This is how you do it, right?
Hey, let's do it.
All right, here, present. Let me make sure I hit the audio screen here. Or not the audio screen, the audio button. I always forget to hit that. All right, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Stand by and action here. I don't hear anything.
No audio yet.
Call?
No,
Yeah,
there it
Mike. I'll film it.
There it is.
Yeah.
Stand up here. Get your perspective.
He stands on. Oh, I thought he was
Here,
standing on
do
the
it like
picnic
over
table.
there.
I'm gonna do it over the water. Yeah,
Just
he is.
because
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Where was this, Mike?
Mayakahatchee. No, Mayak. Hold on.
Yeah.
Two, one.
There it is. There I go.
He just blacked himself out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was seeing
Was that?
stars, man. That was just
out in no man's land for a second. I did a Bigfoot con. I just passed out.
I got that on film too.
Yeah. And nobody helped me up.
Season.
Yeah, they just let you lay there, man. I mean,
I know,
audible.
yeah.
He's a survivalist. You could just left him.
And he takes a sip of liquor right out of his camelback, ladies and gentlemen.
It's hilarious.
Unbelievable.
Well, Mike does a really good job with his shows. I enjoy watching his videos on YouTube. They're a blast. So if you haven't seen them, definitely jump into his channel on YouTube and like and subscribe, and you'll enjoy them for sure.
Yeah,
At Shadow of
absolutely.
Red
How
Eye.
else can they
Yeah.
reach you?
Yeah, it's YouTube is at Shadow of Red Eye. We have a website, shadowofredeye.com. That has all of our stuff. We have an Etsy that we sell a bunch of cool Bigfoot jewelry and stuff on. You can find that through our website. And our Instagram is Shadow of Red Eye, and our Facebook is In the Shadow of Big Red Eye. So yeah, if you guys can subscribe, that would be awesome. To the YouTube channel, I'm like right here when I'm making money on YouTube. So subscribe, people. I
Oh,
appreciate it. Yeah, I know. So
yeah,
Very cool.
everybody.
Very cool.
Ninja Day says, "Who needs alcohol? We know how to have the best fun times." That's right. Yeah, make sure, ladies and gentlemen, go out there and that was funny, Mike. I got to admit it, 'cause you're just like,
oh yeah, I got the shakes going on and everything. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, but I'm glad you had an opportunity to come back. I'm glad, and thanks for coming
Yeah.
on.
Yeah,
It
no,
was
thanks for having
great.
me. Thanks for the invite. I had a good time. It was a fun time. I can't believe the hour is over and past now. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, it goes by so quick. It really does. But yeah, we'll have you back on, and make sure everybody go out there and pay him a visit. And from coast to coast around the world, ladies and gentlemen, that's a wrap. We'll catch you soon. Ain't that right, Chris?
Yep. See you. See you
Take
Wednesday.
care, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks, Mike.
See ya.